Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me today. I thought that we would start with breathing. Just carrying over from the last class, I do feel that breathing is such an important part of the integration in any of our movements. So if you're able to, please sit in seiza. What you want to do is, well, our posture. If you can look at me from the side, sitting seiza, you want to have your tailbone tucked in. Engage your abdominal muscles. And when you breathe, you're breathing from your diaphragm. So the belly breathing concept, you want to feel expanded in a more horizontal way, and also, I would say a horizontal circular way. So just sit here and breathe for a moment. Oh, and then your head. Your chin is tucked in, stretching to the front of your head. You can do the mudra if you like. Left hand, thumb down, hand clasping at least at the first knuckle of your thumb, creating a fist, and you just hold your hand right below your belly button, as what we refer to as the hara. So just hold this posture for a few moments. Inhale. Exhale. And when you're exhaling, you still want to keep that expansive feeling on your diaphragm. If you look at me this way, and inhaling. Exhaling. Still keeping that expansion. So please, keep going. One of the sticky points that I do deal with when sitting and breathing is sometimes you can feel your shoulders tense up. If that's the case, just go ahead and tuck in your tailbone a little bit more. That will help your shoulders to relax and also raise the crown of your head. And the crown is not in the middle here; it's usually back here somewhere, just to give you a focal point to focus on when you're stretching to the crown of your head. So a couple more moments. Keep breathing. And one last note about breathing. What do I do with my eyes? So for a moment, put your two fingers in front of you and slowly put them apart where you can no longer see your fingers. So you kind of have this panoramic view. And actually, that is the view with your breathing that you should maintain when you're moving in any Aikido movement. But so for a couple more moments, using that panoramic vision, with your posture set, keep breathing for a couple more moments.
God damn it.
So how do I bring this awareness, this breathing awareness, into my movement? Which is why I asked you guys to bring a book pen. So if you guys can please get your book pen. I created a small little kata. I hope you guys like it. So, Chiran no Kumai. And so first, let's just work on the mechanics of integrating the breathing with our movement. Just doing a simple Shomanuji strike. So using that breathing that we did in Seiza, you would just inhale up, exhale, cut. And just do that for a couple moments. What I find when I do this with the breathing, I find that my awareness or my zanshen is more extended. And I'm able to extend my boken more, my circuits more. And the more I do that, I find that, at least with this pace, my boken is, every strike is more stable. It's not wavering. And also, when I implement the breathing, my arms are relaxed. So I'm not using arm strength. I'm using my strength in here to push the boken up and to cast my boken out. So a couple more moments. All right. So here's a kata that I've been working with that will help me just to learn where do I need to be stable in my movements, and also, where is my breathing affected? So let's just learn the kata first. So again, with your boken, and by the way, you can do this both tachi waza and squatty waza, which we'll do in a moment too. So Chiran no Kumai. Step forward cut. Slide forward ski. Pivot cut. Hang kan cut. So again, from this side, step forward cut. Step forward ski. Pivot cut. And kan cut. And as I said, you could do the same thing. Swati waza. Step forward cut. Step forward ski. Pivot cut. Hang kan cut. Step forward cut. Oh, I don't want to get it out of the camera. Step forward ski. Pivot cut. Hang kan cut. So now that we have those, grab your Joe, and I've been using this Joe as my feedback mechanism. Just put it somewhere on the floor. Can you guys see? Okay, good. And so what I tend to do is, because of the whole social distancing, one of our big things that we're trying to do is practice, cover my eye, everything my eye, and awareness of our space. So what's really cool about doing these Zoom classes is I only have so much that I can move, so that way you can still see my whole body. And in this case, when I'm doing the kata, what I like to do is I like to practice to see how close can I move next to the jo without moving it. So practice the same kata right by your jo, with the feet by the jo. So again, forward cut, step forward ski, pivot cut. And if you touch the jo, that means that it's either maybe I lost my own balance. That's something I have to check into. And it could be a postural thing for sure. Because in a sense, when you're doing this kata, you're really transitioning between hamni to hamni. So a couple more moments again. when I take a step, I like to check, is my foot and my step, are they reaching at the same place at the same time? And also, when I take that forward cut and the forward step, is my body still aligned with this Joe? Is it thin? And do I feel stable? I mean, you could really like take apart this kata and really work on each of the elements within it just to see just how stable you are. Using this Joe as your feedback mechanism. So the next cut, step forward ski. I went to Joe. So with this, when I step forward and ski, do I tend to, you know, bring the Goku back and then step forward ski? That's something that you don't want to do because remember, everything, all the energy you're extending should be going forward. Or do I take the Boken with me when I ski? And again, I'm still checking my posture. I'm still checking if my whole body is aligned with this Joe. For the third cut, the pivot cut, I mean, without the Boken, you're really just doing this. And I find this very hard to do because when you're pivoting, and by the way, the technical term is Zengo Undo. When you're pivoting, it's so easy to lose your balance, and this is why this Joe is moving. So there's something that I feel, at least in my own Zengo Undo, is not stable for me to move the Joe. But the one of the things I do check, not just the stability of my posture, but I try not to make sure that my Zengo Undo does not rise and fall. I try to keep everything level while keeping my posture straight. So if I'm using the Boken, raise, inhale, one of the things I do check is the tip of my Boken, also known as the Keisaki. I try to make sure that this point here is still in level with my belly button. Because if it's not, it means that somehow my body is split. And if your body is split, that means that in an attacking situation, if your opponent is right in front of you, but your belly button or your Keisaki is not in the line of attack, you're not really attacking that person. That can put you in peril. And also when doing this movement, I like to make sure that my arms are relaxed as much as possible. And it is my body that is moving the Boken. And then for the fourth cut, and cut, that one's really hard to do too. Again, same thing with Zengo Undo. Checking the stability, making sure I don't move the Joe. But also, it's so easy to kind of lose yourself when you're doing this cut. One of the things that I find that that are my sticky points is I actually get really far away from the Joe, which is not what I want. But also, somewhere along the way, I tend to lose my balance. So again, it's one of those things where, what is about the integration between my breath and my body? Am I losing the stance? So for studying this kata, I suggest practicing it as a jo, ha, hu. Jo, the Jo stage is when we're practicing it very slow. and you're really working with the breath to find your sticky points. The medium stage, you're looking for more fluidity. So yes, you're still focusing on the points of integrating my breath, making sure my posture is stable, making sure my extension Rozan Shen is forward. But I simply want to connect my movements. And of course, the last coup, you're going fast, but you still want to keep the elements of the flow and still keep your everything balanced and structured and intact from the drill stage, the slow stage. So just a minute on your own, in Tachiwaza, go through the Johaku. The one thing that I do want to pay attention to is the breathing. So how do I implement the breathing? So inhale up, exhale cut. So exhale and ski. Inhale, cut. Inhale, cut. So when you're going through each of the stages, you are going to notice that the breathing is going to be a little bit different. But for now, see what you can do. See what your body feels comfortable going through the kata using Johaku. So a couple moments on your own, please. You can also do this from squatty waza. So if you want to challenge yourself a little bit further, it's basically both, but it is really challenging doing this in squatty waza because not only are your legs taken away, you have to rely on your hip movement a little bit more. So yeah, please take a moment, try doing the same thing, squatty waza. One of my sticky points when I'm doing tenkan is sometimes I catch myself bringing the sword here, when really you want your sword to be all the way up before finishing the cut. The other sticky point is, even if you're here, I find myself tending to bring my sword like to the side and down. And really, it should be over the head, down. And you're using your hip movement to bring the sword with you down. So again, if you really want to take these apart, you can break them down in Swati Waza, piece by piece, and just kind of, what do you need to work on with the transition of these movements? I think that we have a couple more minutes. So, whether it's Tachiwaza or Swati Waza, keep on doing this kata. And also breathe. And if you really, really want to play around with it, you can play around with ki. And I love doing ki. I know that a lot of us here, we do ki, but there's a reason for it. I feel like it gives you power to technique. It focuses on your function a little bit more. And there's an energy behind it. So If you want to be a little bit more playful with your strikes, kiai. Ha! Ha! It gives a little bit more energy to the practice. Ha! Ha! Oh! Ha! Ha! Oh! Ha! Ha! Oh! I think is time up now?
You have 5 more minutes.
Oh, I do. Okay. Yeah. So 5 more minutes. Please work in this kata. I hope you enjoy it.
You can also, does anybody have any questions?
Oh, that is a good time for questions.
If you have a question, unmute yourself and ask it, please.
So, Sensei, when you do seiza, where do you put your weight then? I mean, do you lift yourself from the heel, or you put your weight on the heel?
One moment. The weight is on the heel, but most importantly, the center of gravity should be back, not forward. Because what's happening is that when you're sitting, you're actually you're tucking in your tailbone, so you have this situation. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. However, I do feel like my thighs are getting really tense, and then I couldn't sit for a long time with seiza.
Well, there's something like this. I mean, it's I mean, if you're not used to it, yes, there's going to be pain in the beginning. The only thing I could say is, you know, work with that breath, tuck in your tailbone, stretch to the crown of your head, and just keep on breathing. But yeah, seiza, I mean, especially if you have knee problems, that I could see that being an issue.
Thank you. Yes.
Anything else?
Okay, we still got a couple minutes if you want to have them practice a little bit more or wind it up, whatever you want to do.
All right, well, you know what, since we're on this, you know, breathing mechanism, yes, let's go ahead and do some sitting. I got some tacos. The sogi breathing. So for this, again, you're sitting in seiza, you know, tucking your tailbone, stretch to the crown of your neck. When you hear the taku, inhale. When you hear the second taku, exhale. And this time, make your exhalation audible. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale. No. Thank you so much.